Welcome to this week's Dream Card judging video here at BOTB. We'd now like to hand over to today's lawyer from Onside Law who'll oversee the proceedings.
My name is Hannah Kent from Onside Law and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditing company as at. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. The group will then come to a final panel decision.
My name's Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer.
My name's Liam Walsh. I'm a retired referee, currently an FA observer and head coach for the Middlesex Referees Academy.
I'm Nigel Hicks. I've been a Supply League match official for the best part of 30 years and I'm an experienced football administrator.
Hi, my name is Kieran FITZGIBBON. I've played football for more than 30 years and am now a senior county referee.
Hi, my name's RENEE HECTOR and I play football for Watford FC Women and I'm a coach for Tottenham Hotspur Foundation.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, a mentor, tutor and observer.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Ndonka. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, firstly as a player and then as a referee.
Good morning, my name is Leo Donnellan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient.
Good morning, my name is Peter GEORGIou and I am a futsal and football referee.
Good morning, my name is Alain Goma. I'm an ex-professional footballer, having played for Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle and Fulham.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 10 individual selections.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
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 As you see, we've got quite a large spread of choices here. Anyway, we've got 5 players in shot. We can't see the 2 on the left. They're just looking towards the play. We've got a player in the background, I think, looking up towards this sort of tussle and the ball coming down to them. The player in white seems to be impeded by the player in red and black behind him. He's got his hands on one shoulder and he's sort of up under his armpit, just trying to get over the top of him to head the ball. I personally think the ball's just dropping into them. And I've cross-referenced their 2 eyes, but let me get some lines up from them. We've obviously got quite a big spread. There's a sort of majority of us going up from this sort of angle from this guy in the white. And I will also draw a second line up from this player this way. So that's how I'm going to draw the 2 lines, and I'll draw some more in a little bit later on. But if I can come to you, Kieran, first, you're sort of quite a way out left to the rest of us, and I'll highlight yours there and put the magnifier over the top. What did you think was happening in the shot?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I'm obviously different from most of the judges here. I took perhaps too much from the player on the ground who's looking towards these 2 players. I couldn't judge exactly where the ball was. As you say, one player, it looks like a defender's got his arms over the player in white. I sort of looked at their eye lines, but thought it was in the foreground just coming into them. I thought they were on the way up. And therefore thought it wasn't quite as close to them as maybe it might look in the photograph. But that was my feeling. I took a little bit perhaps from the player on the ground, and that's why mine's a little bit further to the left than the others.
Okay, thank you. And Hugh, there's yours highlighted, the darker purple cross, and I'll put the magnifier over it. How did you see the picture?
Yeah, for me, 2 players, they're challenging. The players on the right of the shot, I felt the player in the red and black behind the player in white was trying to sort of pull the player in white down, maybe stop him jumping. He's got one arm round him, one arm on his shoulder. But I just felt, looking at both their eye lines, I didn't think it was kind of straight above them. I thought it was still out in front of them, both dropping in, but still with time for them to challenge. But neither are off the ground yet. So I felt there'd still be a bit of distance between them and the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And so we have two sort of out to the left by quite a distance, and then we've got a selection of the last 8. We've got a sort of centre cluster and a couple below, couple above. So what I'd like to go to next is Nigel. You're the yellow cross there that's magnified, and you're the closest to the players. Could you explain your decision, please?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
So, yeah, I'm basically I've discounted the player lower down in the picture who's looking straight at us. I didn't feel his sight lines intersected with the other two, so I'm really just looking at the two players who are challenging for the ball. I felt they are well. Certainly, the player in white is on the rise. The player behind us has got clear arms over his shoulder and around him, so he may be affecting that jump. I felt that from the player straining his neck up, the player in white straining his neck up, the ball was fairly close to him, and drawing sight lines out from the two eyes that we can see. Put my cross where I felt they intersected.
Yeah, thank you very much. And next, Peter, you're just to the right of Nigel's there. There's yours magnified and the sort of lime green cross. Did you see that anything different?
No, I agree that the player in black and white is preventing the white player jumping for the ball. Yes, it's in that tunnel of 8, the angle. It's just basically how far away from the heads the ball is. I mean, with Kieran, I've actually taken that height from the vision of the player in the background, looking in. So rather than he looks like he's looking flatter rather than looking up. So that's why I got it closer to the two heads.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks very much. I mean, Leo, you're here. Yours is the sort of the pink cross. You're on the same trajectory as both Peter's, and then Ari is above yours. How did you see this tussle?
Hi, Matt. Yeah, they're tussling for the ball. I think the player in white, he's got both his arms up, so it's imminent that he's going to try and head this ball. I think the player in black, obviously, he's got his arm on him, and so he's fighting for the ball. I still think the player in white is going to head the ball out of the two. I think he's the favourite. But mainly, Matt, I just went with his eye line. I think the player in white, he's looking steeply. So I put it, steeply above his head and just slightly in front of him. And also with the player in black, I put it just ever so, just a touch in front of him. But also I felt he was looking steeply.
Yeah, great, thank you. And Ari, you're just the highest of these three on that particular trajectory. How did you see the shot?
Thanks, Matt. Well, I have exactly the same reading as Leo over here. I just felt that the player in red on the side is looking slightly higher. That's when I drew my lines. I felt, well, I took the first line that I drew. It was the player in white, because I felt he is the one who's going to play the ball. So I drew that one first, and then I tried to cross-reference with the player in black and in red. And I felt with the body language that the player in white is, I felt that the ball is still as a way to go to him. That's why I placed my center of the cross over there.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Liam, you're the dark green cross. You're sort of in the center of the three, sort of small cluster of three. If I highlight your cross, how did you see the picture?
Thanks, Matt. I tried to keep the process quite simple for this one because of the fact that you can just see the left eye of both players. And I didn't go with any fancy calculations this morning. I went for that eye looking through the center of the ball. I used their eye line and the angle of their heads. I agree with you that the ball's dropping. But I think there's distance for the ball a little bit of distance for the ball to travel, because both players' eyes wide open. I don't think impact is imminent. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And Ala, you're the pink cross here, the light pink cross. And I'll magnify yours there. How did you see the tussle? Any different from Liam than myself? Or?
No, quite similar. I went, like Liam, I went, with the eyeline of the plain whites. I thought, the plain red and black was looking a bit more, forward diagonally, I would say. So hence I went a bit, to the left compared to, I would say, Leo and Ari.
Yeah, no, cool, lovely. Thank you. And lastly, Renee, you're the orange cross here, magnified, and I'll put the highlighter over the top. How did you see what was happening?
Yeah, nothing too dissimilar. Obviously, the two players are tussling for the ball. My cross is a little bit higher because I think that the ball's still got a little bit of travelling to do, because even though the player is clearly being impeded, his arms are up, and if he was going to make contact with the ball, he'd probably start to make that movement of bringing his arms down. So I still think it's got a little way to travel. And then obviously just cross-referenced where I felt that their eyes were looking, and that's sort of in the middle, in between the main cluster, really. Not quite as steep as some of them, but again, not quite as low, because I do feel like they are looking relatively steeply.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to undo this line and redraw it from this player here, taking it up through Liam's there, just to the left of Alas. So that's quite a tight sort of eye line up from the both players, and I think the majority of us have said that we believe that they're moving up that way, and I think Hughes and Kieran's are far enough away from the group of this particular eye line, the quite narrow look up from the two players, for them to be removed, which I will do as head judge. And as you see, it brings it to basically give us 4 to the left, 4 to the right, and then there's a slightly again, there's almost the same split with Aries at the top and Liam and Nigel and Peter's at the bottom. And if I put the magnifier over the top, we'll see that Aries is completely out, as is Peter and Nigel's. So obviously we could remove another 3 judges to bring it into the middle of this section of 5, and I'll do that just as a you see, it brings it into there, which encompasses all the rest of us, the 5 of us. But if I put them back in again, oops, sorry. Again, it brings it and encompasses the 5 choices. I think, as many of you alluded to, it's the ball is dropping in from this narrow sort of shaft of eye line. So the distance of the ball has got some, Aries is a bit higher. These two are a bit lower. So I'd like to hear again from you if you think that we need to remove anybody else's, or to stick with this calculated average, which, although we have 3 outside, I'm loath to get to the situation where we actually only have half the judging panel left in and effectively, although the calculated average does move, it still encompasses the middle 5, the main cluster. So Liam, what do you think about this? And if you can add anything that would be useful, that'd be great.
I agree with your comments completely, Matt. That I like the fact we've got this channel coming up. Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head where you said the credibility of us is that if you take out the 3 guys, you'll end up with just half the amount of judges. But I also like the average of where it, with the 8, where it puts the cross. So I'm happy for the 3 guys to stay in, please.
Yeah, great, thank you. And as I'll reiterate that I think there's an equal split, top and bottom and right to left as well. So yeah. Thank you. Nigel, I'll come to you next.
Yeah, I think you both said it all already, really. I think removing the 3 crosses will give you a much smaller cluster, but it's only half of the panel then, and I think where it is a perfectly credible position.
Yeah, thank you. And I will come to you, to Kieran, although you've been removed. I'd value what you think as well.
Yeah, no, I think you've called that right. I think it's difficult to judge how far the ball is away from those players. So where you've got leaving all the other judges in there is a very credible position.
Great, thank you. And then Renee?
Yeah, I agree. I think if anything, going to be a little bit controversial, but I just think that Nigel and Peter's cross is probably a little bit low based on just where my cross is. And I'm quite happy to where Ari's cross is. So if it was me and to move the average closer to my cross, I'd probably remove the two lower ones.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll do that as an exercise to see where it goes. And as you're right, it does come up slightly closer to your own choice. So makes absolute perfect sense. Thank you. Hugh, I know you've been removed again, but again, value your opinion.
Yeah, I agree to leave the 3 in. I think it's a better average.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Ari?
I have the same opinion as Renee, because I don't feel that the ball would be as lower as the Peter and Liam have their crosses. But I see the point that you make in terms of removing that many number of judges. So I'm inclined to agree and remaining all as 3.
Great, thank you, Ari. Leo?
Yeah, I will keep everybody in. I think the average is in a very good position.
Great, thank you. Peter?
Yes, I'm happy with that. With the 8 crosses as they are, with the centre of the ball where it is.
Great, thank you. And lastly, Alain?
Yeah, no, I think the position of the 3 crosses we're discussing about, are credible. So yeah, therefore I would keep the average as it is.
Great, thank you. And Nigel, just triple check. I have asked you, haven't I?
You have, yeah.
Good. So my tick wasn't very good. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. So Hannah, after a good discussion, we've decided to judge at the average with myself removing Kieran and Hughes. And after a good debate about the height of the ball, we've decided to judge at this average.
Okay, thank you. If you're all happy, then please click submit. Okay, thank you, judges. The coordinates selected are 2843 and 1075. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditing company AZETS to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.